Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm. Wait for it, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with
Okay, so today we're just waiting for our guest to show up. You're gonna love this podcast. Probably in the top 10 of our downloads, but this lady abandoned Amazon. And wait till she tells you why, and started getting into drop shipping and just doing all sorts of different things that other people weren't doing. She's a great friend of mine. Her name's Elena Saris, and she'll be joining us just in a few minutes. But before we get to that, we've got a couple of announcements that we are going to be talking about today. We've got something brand new, something completely different, and we're just going to take up about a minute of your time just to explain what's going on. So maybe if Boy Wonder can come on.
That's me.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my God.
Welcome.
And your mic is actually working. You figured it
I
out.
know. We've had a crazy week or two of issues on this podcast, but we're getting through it and everything is going fine. Yep. So Elena will be joining us shortly. But before we do
she's
that,
got to do her hair, you know.
Of course. So if you're watching right now, if you could please like and smash those like buttons, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're almost hitting 1,000, which is pretty crazy. We're at like 872. So if you haven't yet, please go over and check out our YouTube channel. It's Norman Farrar.
Or if
we
you
got
know
some new
any friends that
Yeah.
you can tag and get them to like it. We want to hit that 1,000. So
Yeah,
we're getting
absolutely.
there. We're getting pretty close.
So actually, I believe our first episode ever for the Lunch with Norm was on May 30th. So that is coming up, and that is why we got this big announcement happening. So actually, do you want to do the honors or shall I?
Let's do it together.
So, okay. Well, all right. Well, we're going to be doing a Patreon. So we have a Patreon right now. It's very basic. We've got, I think, 3 Patreon members, but in the next couple months or next month, we'll be starting and really revamping up our Patreon. So for those that don't know, Patreon is like a paid subscription service. And we're going to be throwing a bunch of content, prizes, giveaways. We're going to be giving a lot of free membership. I don't know how deep you want to go into this.
Well, yeah, basically we didn't, and sorry guys, I know we're going to get into this talking with Elena very shortly, but we think it's very important that we hear the different things that we're doing with Patreon. So first of all, it's for every budget. And second of all, so it'll go from $3 up to about $75. And when you're looking at the $75 membership, which is a monthly membership fee, it's giving you crazy. Like we've got all of the guests either giving us incredible deals on their services, or on one-to-one consults, or on every giveaway that we have. They're also going to be in the platinum version, we call it. I don't know why, but it's going to be 10 times. It'll probably be 20 times the value every month. And so we're also going to be doing additional training in there. So what we wanted to do is provide extra content. The podcast, believe it or not, costs money. It really does. Somebody's got to pay Kelsey 10 cents an hour. And,
Exactly.
by bringing this out, not only can we bring value to our community, but I think that it'll hit every price point, and the amount of giveaways. Like as soon as you join the one, you get a free done for you press release, which is $200 or $300. You get a free month over at Centurion. There's a ton of different things, and we'll be laying that out. And I think we're trying to launch that in June. So just kind of stay with us.
So that's happening in June. It's not right now. So just hold on. We'll make more announcements about this later. But yeah, we're not paywalling anyone right now. All the content's going to stay the same. We're going to get our 3 episodes every week. exactly the same. All we're doing is just adding more content, and then if you are interested in that, you'll get more. You'll have to pay some money for it for tiered levels. But anyways, Elena is here, and we can get started. So do you want to do the honors?
Elena.
Do you want to? Okay. Oh.
Hello.
There we go.
What? I didn't know I have to do my hair. Oh.
No, I thought it was my time noon. Lunch. It's lunch with Norm. Lunch.
Lunch. Lunch with Norm. East Coast time. That's what we'll call it from now on.
I understand. My hair was done. I would have canceled if you had told me this. I just needed a little tweaking. But I'm in my office, so you see my old lady rocker chair behind me. I've got my rotary phone here because that'll be important soon.
It's very important.
Yeah. So how are you? It's been a while.
I'm doing great. And we're going to be talking about something really cool today. Do you know what we're talking about?
No, you tell me. What are we talking about?
We're going to be talking about diversity with all the changes that's happening with Facebook right now, with the iOS, and fighting with Apple. Yeah. Every day seems to be getting harder to advertise. And I was just going to tap into your incredible mind.
Okay. Yeah. It's really like, it just seems like these children are fighting in a sandbox, right? I'm fine. Look over here. Does it look like I'm looking right at? Okay. Like they're fighting in a sandbox. It's like they're all making tons of money off each other and they're all acting like they're the privacy protectors.
Yep.
And everybody's just a data manufacturing, curating, selling company. So it's really frustrating. I actually had my accountant say to me, gosh, you must have a really high level rep, spending over $1 million on Facebook ads. I'm like, I'm a flea on the dog as far as Facebook. I mean, a gnat on the flea on the dog. Even big spenders that I know that are spending $1 million a month are just getting slapped, right? So
left, right, and center.
Yeah. So I think that the diversification is what is really important. We're getting more into influencers. We're getting more into press releases. We're getting more into emails. I know, right? Press releases. Who'd have thunk? Cutting edge that you are. Emailing, native ads, a lot of like content stuff. We're doing that and lead gen stuff. Really, I think for me, if I said, the next 6 months are build my email list. I think that's if my store didn't have 100,000 customers on an email list, when the election happened and Facebook just went and was just banning ad accounts willy-nilly, I probably wouldn't have had Christmas sales as many as I did because they just took accounts down for no reason. And then They were so overwhelmed with the people, complaining and righteously complaining that it took weeks to get them back in the best time of the year. So, and then with all the, no politics here, but just the fact of the election and what that did to social media and what social media responded with this huge hammer rather than looking at something and saying, hey, you know what, this really isn't political. This is an ad for a toothbrush, but the bots picked it up. So things have been very crazy. Yeah. But I do think that, the strong survive. When you find a way to work around, it's gonna come back.
So let's hook back a bit. Elena, like we've known each other for years, years and years and years.
Back when Norm had hair and no beard, we were tight.
Was there ever a day?
No, never. I've never known you without a beard.
But what I want to talk about is, and this is kind of an interesting story, why you left Amazon. And, the reason why every holiday that you were coming up against, you got banned or suspended. Why don't we just talk about that? And this is really important. So I've known Elena for years. I saw when you made the transition over to the drop shipping model, and you knew nothing about this model. And all of a sudden, you're just kicking ass with doing it. And I want to let everybody know that Amazon private label selling is one model. Drop shipping, wholesale. There's all sorts of different models that you can take advantage of. And we're going to get into that. But let's get into the day that you got the email from Amazon.
Yeah, it was, looking back. Now, I never did any Black Hat stuff. So if you hear me saying I got banned, it's because of some glitch in the system. I'm not a black hat person at all. A little gray things here and there, but so I was selling, I'll just tell you now, cause it's totally dumb, but it was a book that was a dictionary that in your shelf looked like a dictionary. And then it was a safe inside. And back then it was kind of like hip and cool. And the ones that were being made were kind of funky, and they were getting bent. So I went to the factory. I was taking trips to China, and I got it made stronger with the steel, and I got to put in these really good boxes, right? And they were all my logo, and my logo was on the thing. And it was selling great for about 2 years. And then I think it was a black hat tactic that was taught in some seminar to say this catches fire, or this is what do you call it? Counterfeit.
Right.
So when I first got the letter, it was like, I think it was around mid-October, and I'm going to mess up the year, but mid-October, the year that things were doing well. And it was going to be my first big private label month with something that I had like created versus all these little things I used to sell, like generic butter dishes and steering wheel covers. And they said that I had counterfeited it. So I'm like, well, this is going to be easy because I have 2 years of inventory, invoices on this that I can show. I had pictures of me in the factory. I had the letter from the guy who did it. I had, I even included the invoice for the graphic designer for the box thing and the invoices for the box. And I thought, this happens. It'll be fixed. No problem. I'll still have a great Q4. And it got turned back on like December 28th. So I had just ordered, my entire Q4 inventory, and it took me until almost May to sell through those when I would have already sold through those in December. And I just said, okay, you know what? That was just a bad year. And the next year, the same thing happened. And again, I thought no problem because they, we're very sorry for the, that's Facebook's big thing too. We're very sorry for the inconvenience of you losing your entire fourth quarter. Yeah. We've re-enabled everything. So they didn't disable my account. Luckily, they just wouldn't let me sell that item. So I did sell a lot of stuff that Christmas, but not this one main item. And when it happened the second year, I just said, look, you guys did this last year. You realized it was a mistake. How about we do this quickly? And then it was like December 2nd. So I had like 2 weeks or something of sales the next year. And then that March is when I went to China and with the last group that I used to take to China, and the fellow who was the drop shipper said, can I come with? And I said, if you tell us what you're doing. And, I think you were there, right? That was the one. He brings the 23-year-old that says, I was doing 20 million last year. And yeah, he says, but I've been doing this 10 years at 23, he says.
Yeah.
And that's
incredible.
part of, yeah, but I had seen writing on the wall prior to that because, I think one of the talents I have is seeing where people are going and trying to just go, in a little bit of a different direction, not going crazy. So it takes me like months to catch up. But when everybody was selling the garlic presses and the aromatherapy oil, I had this stable of those stupid products that were just very cheap, several of them, each making $400 profit a month. 400 sales a month, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 each profit. So they were just stacking up and it was great. No hijackers, no problem, because people are like, she's only making 400 sales a month. Who cares? Like, that's not something we're going to hijack. And now in drop shipping. So you said, I transferred from Amazon to drop shipping. And now what I'm doing is a sort of hybrid. So I'm doing private label drop shipping. So I'm not just generically selling things from AliExpress any longer.
When did you start doing that?
Well, probably a year and a half ago. I did it with just one item, and now the whole store is pretty much that.
So you are private labeling, you're going in and you're doing the drop. So before we get into the Facebook stuff, tell me about that. I've never heard you talk about that.
Well, I think I just decided that's what it's called. I had told you about it without thinking about that.
So you're making up words.
I'm making up words. Okay. Yeah. So it's called. So no, what it is okay. So if you're, I don't know if you probably don't, because you're, erudite, intelligent, and live in Canada and don't get the commercials that maybe we get all the time on crazy cable news. So what we used to do and what the model for drop shipping is, for those who might not know, is we find products that are trending and selling very well. We find a supplier from AliExpress. We put up a picture of the product. We don't buy it in advance. We advertise to that product page that has the picture and the price. When someone buys it, we call the supplier in China and say, hey, Norm just bought this, Beard's whatever. And they send it directly to you. And so you would have paid me $20 for that. I would have paid the supplier $4 for it. I would have paid $12 for the advertising to acquire the customer. And I just pocket the money. I have no inventory. I don't have to guess. I don't have to wait 6 months to see if my guess is right. I get to own my own customers, blah, blah, blah. So one of the items, just to give an example of what I'm talking about, that sold very well, that we were all selling, that was very trendy. And I know many of you have seen it. It's just clear white tape. And you put it on a wall and it'll hold like bricks. It'll hold like everything.
I got it right here. Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I have it. Action tape.
Okay. So that was a generic product that anybody could sell on their own Shopify store by getting it from the supplier. So some smart business or company took that product and called it like UFO tape or something. And I mean, literally built a company around it. So they advertise on television. So they are literally putting on TV these really cheesy ads that we used to put on Facebook. And maybe I have it wrong. Maybe that company came first and we all were stealing it, but I don't think so, because none of us got any of those cease and desist letters. I've seen it done with a ceiling fan. I've seen it done with some other things. So I had a particularly successful product. And what I did was I just tweaked it a little and made it my own. It wasn't tweaked enough it was a generic product anyway. It wasn't tweaked enough that I could claim IP or ownership or trademark or patent over it, but I was out a year and a half in advance. And that one item for me, I have 100,000 customers, probably 80,000 are ones that bought that item.
So the model, if people are listening and they like, drop shipping is one thing, but you were really doing more of the free plus shipping model, weren't you?
No, I tried that a little bit to build a list, but I didn't come into drop shipping until like 2018 or 19, and free plus shipping really peaked at like 15, 16. I mean, you do it and you can do it to sell a thing, but you're not going to make a ton of money off. It's really like a lead gen. It's like if you have a really good back end and you get people in, but that required, at the time, building out a website and having an upsell and things like that. My first million I did on Facebook, I didn't even have an email list. I didn't even know how to do an upsell. I didn't know any of that, and so it's definitely charging for the product. You're charging for the product, but you're not paying in advance. So with the model that I'm doing, I actually partnered with someone, because I do have to pay for inventory in advance, but I partnered with a company that's willing to pay the majority of it, so long as I let them be the sole supplier, and they're in the United States and they ship it. Now, that's just one item on my store. I still sell stuff from AliExpress on that store. I found a jewelry company in Rhode Island that was willing to drop ship for me. When I went to ASD back when you could, go out to places, I have a list of 4 or 5 people, and they're like, we don't drop ship direct to customers. And I'm like, okay, let me ask you this. When you're selling this product, how many units that you're giving it to a store to sell, are you happy with? Like, what makes you excited? Oh, they'll sell like 500 or 1,000 units in a month. And I'm like, well, what if I can sell 200 units a day? Can we talk about drop shipping? And they're like, can you do that? And I get out my phone and I start showing them the numbers. And I've got about 3 or 4 suppliers now that will work with me for that, because I can show them that sort of, history.
So when I just want to make sure that the model that you're doing, you're still not buying inventory, right?
Only on that one item that I pseudo created.
Right.
Otherwise,
but
everything is drop shipping.
Everything else. So there's no upfront cash required. You're just, when an order comes in, it goes to the supplier ships it out, and voila. Now, from the time it takes to get from China to North America, do you see products canceled? Because I know before it used to be sometimes 3 or 4 weeks before they got the product.
Right. And I think that's a huge misunderstanding currently. 2 misunderstandings. Number one, people aren't shopping when they buy our products. We're interrupting your social media experience, number one. So a lot of people think the products that we sell are unique. And when you think you're buying something unique, like if you go to Etsy and someone's hand making something, you're going to wait because it's being handmade, right? Traditional Etsy. Obviously now you can drop ship on Etsy, but so not everyone wants everything in 2 days. I mean, they want it in 2 days, but not everyone's going to get angry in 2 days. Most people will give you 7 to 10 days. And there are third-party companies out there. I'll take one is Zendrop, which I like a lot. And they will 8 to 15 days. And then if you pay a little bit extra, you can get it in 3 to 5 days on most of their products. So if you go direct from AliExpress, it's a month now. And, e-packet prices soared and all of that. But There's a lot of companies out there that want your business, and they will buy it or at least bring it to their warehouse with the permission of the manufacturers, right? And then sell it and then put it in their special line shipping. So special line shipping can go 8 to 15 days, can go sometimes 7 to 10. All my stuff is pretty much 5 to 7. I'm 90% in the US now. I also have suppliers that I have relationships with that I say, hey, like I want to test something, let's say. I'll call them up and I'll say, what can you get me the price on this? And they're usually a little higher than AliExpress, but what they will do that a lot of suppliers on AliExpress won't do is they'll say, but if the same person buys 2, there's no extra shipping at all. So a lot of people will buy 2 of things, especially if they're things like things for your car, things for your bathroom, things for your house. So I won't have them buy it. They won't pay any money to buy it in advance until I can prove I'm selling 10 or 15 a day. And then when they see that happening, they'll DHL into their factory 100 units, and they'll get that, into their factory and start drop shipping from the United States for me. Now, someone starting out in drop shipping can't do that, but actually, if you're really starting out, and we'll talk about this, I hope when we talk about my book, is print on demand. Print on demand is drop shipping, and it's a lot of options to do that from the United States.
Okay, so
a lot of options.
That was going to be my next question, but let's talk about the giveaway today, shall we?
Sure. I was hoping to have it today. It's still getting the cover designed. So I was writing this book. This was my big thing since I left being a lawyer. I was writing this like very, hoity-toity book about, hey, all my trial skills can help you be better at business. And it was taking forever. And I was working with trying to get, a real book, right? And then I probably had, without exaggeration, in March to April of 2020, 20 friends call me and say, hey, you left your job, you've been doing this drop shipping or e-commerce business. How are you doing it? And I just said, well, I was explaining it one at a time, and I was trying to talk to these people, and I realized that most people have no idea. Like, we live in this rarefied air. Like I was saying to someone the other day, well, that's only going to bring in $3,000 a month. And I thought, I caught myself like, wait, what? But I meant for the effort, but just the words out of my mouth, like only $3,000. I mean, the words only and $3,000. I'm like, the way I grew up, that's like, crazy talk, right? But when you're having this conversation with people who aren't in the space, they're so blown away by it. And they think that the opportunity is either passed them by or they're too old. So I just said, I'm putting this book on hold, and I'm writing a book that's just basically, this is the opportunity that's out there right now. This is why you need to get into it. This is how easily you can get into it. These are the 3 things that I have found are holding people back. Okay. And because I'm a lawyer, I call those like the prison of your own mind. And I'm going to give you the keys to those prisons. And so I titled the book, for now, because my editor and I are clashing over titles. I'm way too clever for my own good with titles, but right now it's called Courting Freedom. Like court, like I go to court. So Courting Freedom. And it really is for people who don't think that this is for them or don't understand. And so in terms of the giveaway, I'm giving everybody who on this podcast and who, emails me, you can have the book for free as soon as it's done, which should be by the end of this month. I'm hoping by the end of next week. I mean, the book is done, but you have to format it. And this is the thing. And I really think this is one of the things I'm the poster child for, and why I joke about my rotary phone is that, there's so many people out there who think they're too old or they can't do it, or I don't know technology. And honestly, I was presented with the dropshipping opportunity in 2015, but back then you had to know how to sort of deal with building your website, or at least configuring it. You had to deal with getting a merchant processor. And that doesn't mean that Shopify wasn't there, but Shopify wasn't as idiot-proof as it is now. And WooCommerce and GrooveFunnels and GrooveCart and ClickFunnels. It's like, it's so easy. And I have, could I sit down and learn how to format my book? And could I do that in about 3 hours? Sure. Am I willing to do that? No. So someone is doing that for me. So I'm on their timeline for that. But you don't have to have the technological expertise of, a person who grew up with an iPad in their crib in order to be successful at drop shipping. And that's really one of the things I want the book to say. And it tends to mean I'm talking to people over 40, but not necessarily, because there's just a lot of people who never got into it, who never thought about it, or who just think of all online businesses as scams, get rich quick, multi-level marketing, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
that's what the book is really aimed at. Like, get in. There's still time, and the focus is, and one of the things that I've done, okay, well, let me break there and see if there's anything about that first, because I just dropped the book on you.
No, I think that's great. And today it's not a single giveaway, it's a mass giveaway, right? So anybody who sends over an email to you, they get a copy of the book. Is that correct?
That's correct. And just to show you how non-technological I am, when we do give you the email site, you must use the www, because I don't know how to make it so that it works without the www.
Oh my gosh. Contact me after this, would you?
But for now, it's www.wewillshowyouhow.com.
All right.
That's all you got to do. There's a form in there. The form, you know what? The form may even be old. It may be about something old. Just put your email there. That's where I collect them, and that's where the first people that are gonna get this book are.
Okay, very good. And about the technology thing, you can always tell Elena's walking around an event when she's trying to talk with her rotary phone. That's her cell phone. She's got a very long wire.
No, it's not as bad as this, though. It's not as bad when I do this.
Come and say hi.
Norm, when I do this and try and take a selfie, that's when you have to worry.
Elena, this is my wife, and this is my event wife.
Hi!
I am a real person. I do exist.
I knew you were real.
So, hello, Elena.
And my coffee provider.
Yes.
Oh,
I hope you pay her more than 10 cents an hour.
Maybe 15.
Oh. She's someone I'm nominating for sainthood every time I hang out with you.
Well, so we're going to put the link up, and I think that's an awesome giveaway. So you're always full of knowledge. Let's get into talking a bit more about POD, and then we'll get into Facebook and all that other.
So in doing this, one of the things that one of the reasons that I got away from Amazon, and I tell the story in the book about why I wanted to leave my job, which is a little bit of drama, and then a little bit about what I saw, the writing on the wall with Amazon, and I quote it's not paranoia if they're really chasing you. And I remember in 2016 and 17 saying, why are these like brands I've never heard of able to sell what I'm selling for less than I'm able to purchase it for in China? And come to find out that it was Amazon's own brands. And I said, I feel like we're being spied on. I really do. I feel like they're looking at our sales and then coming in and everyone's like, you've been a criminal defense attorney too long. You're paranoid. And then sure enough, Bezos is testifying before Congress saying, yeah, we did. We scraped third-party sellers' data so that we could do research and sell our own stuff. And I had no other idea of what the opportunity was. So it was completely kismet when this kid wanted to come to China with us and tell me what Shopify was. And I was who I'm talking to now then. Like, I can't do Shopify. I can't. And it was because I hadn't, looked into these done for you things that make it so easy. So one of the things I went ahead and did is partnered with Slingly. I have now an agency called Merch for Brands, where it's literally done for you. It's exactly the store I would have wanted someone to let me have the key to when I was first starting. So you come in, you say, okay, and you might be a restaurant, or you might be a person whose hours were cut because of the pandemic who wants to do a side gig, or you might want to be someone who was laid off and who wants a new business, but you want to start like, can I do this? And you don't need a designer. We have the first 10 designs, and then it goes up from tiers. We can do other stuff for you. Also, we partner with people to bring traffic to your store. And 4 of the 5 have nothing to do with Facebook ads. So you just come in and you have this store. Now, you can do this a million places. You can learn how to do everything on YouTube now. You can get a Shopify free trial and literally drag a picture of what you want to sell onto your website. I mean, and in the old days, it was like you had to, the picture had to be this, and you had to do that, and you had to get a developer, and it's like, I just recently hired an ad agency to do my ads for me. I'm trying really to get out of this, to get into more of, not out of my e-commerce, but I want to do an e-commerce where I find the products or I design the product, and then everything else is outsourced. And I'm 85% there. And this agency took over this month, and they're looking at this website and they're like, who the heck built your website? And I'm like, this really dumb lawyer. They couldn't believe that the store was that successful with the website as ugly as it was. And I know people who spend a year building a website before they start to sale. I mean, that store did $3 million last year, and it is the ugliest thing in the world because On social media, when you advertise, you don't advertise to your storefront, you advertise to your product page. And so that's all that people see is the picture and the add to cart. So did I spend 1 minute making it all pretty? No, I mean, maybe one. But, and am I losing money? Probably. But did I get started? You know, and now the agency says, we actually have a division that will help you with the website. And I'm like, great, you know, let's do that. Because as we're doing more of this alternative to Facebook ads, we will be sending people to the store. We are brand building. So it's really, really, really important. I don't want you to think it's not, but I can't tell you how many people don't start because they think it's too complicated without really understanding. Like you asked me about the shipping times. Well, the other thing is price. You know, we're not comparing shipping times with Amazon, and we're not comparing shipping times with prices with Amazon, because there's no other item people are looking at when they're shopping. They're not shopping. They're just impulse buying this, right? So when you're in the mall and you're going to the Apple store and there's a unicorn sock kiosk in the walkway, you don't sit there, look at the unicorn sock and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go down the street to Macy's and see if they have this unicorn sock cheaper. You just go, oh my God, it's a unicorn sock. That's so cool. My kid loves unicorns. I'm going to buy the sock, because it's interrupting the experience you're having with an impulse buy. And you don't price compare, and you don't say, well, how long till shipping? How long till this? As long as it's within certain parameters, it's you know, an impulse to them. So the storefront doesn't have to be good. Your description doesn't have to be perfect. I knew a guy was doing $20,000 a day. He was a guru. He was on a call with us, and he's showing us how to do this. I don't know. It was like a variant. He was showing us how to do a variant. And he scrolls down to the bottom of the page and it says lipsum aurum. It's got the Latin at the bottom of his product page for an item that's doing $20,000 a day.
You know, and that is a huge difference. You know, then typically when I'm building a brand, I am putting everything into that web page, the design, the look. But with what you're doing is, like you said, it's an impulse buy. It's something that you're either a pattern interruption on Facebook or something that gets somebody's attention to say, yeah, I want those unicorn socks. I don't care what the website looks like. I don't care if it has the lipsum whatever on the bottom. They just want those socks. And that's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. And I don't want, you know, I know there's thousands of people out there saying, well, that's stupid because you should build a brand. And if you had it better, it would make more money. 100% in agreement. And I am building a brand, and it will be better and it will make more money, but get started first. And then $3
million in sales.
I'm just get started.
Off of an ugly website.
Off of an ugly website. So this is what I'm saying. I am not poo-pooing brands at all. I'm 1000% behind brands. But don't, listen, if you got time and money to burn, and this is going to be a project that you're willing to spend all of this time on, knock yourself out, build a brand, get like a color palette expert, you know, pay a psychologist to figure out a good name, whatever you want to do. But if you're wanting to make money online as a side hustle, or because you're tired of your boss, or because you just need the extra money because of what's happening right now, just get started. Right. Then we can grow into a brand. I still have a really stupid general store that will sell like an ice scraper one day, a musical instrument the next day, and something that removes like nose hair. You know, that's never going to be a brand store. This is going to be a brand store. And it is. People recognize it. I have like return customers. I have emails going out every day that are generating sales now that I've already paid for the customer. So I'm not saying never build a brand. I'm saying don't let this stuff keep you from getting started, especially if you're not sure and you're thinking about it. Get in and do it.
I see that a lot with the Amazon sellers, private label sellers, and a lot of the time they what if it to death, and it has to be perfect, and it has to be. We want it perfect, especially if you're putting 2 feet into it and not just a toe. But the other thing with what you're doing, like when I had that, we've talked about this before. I had a tech incubator in Tampa back 1990s. But one of the things that was always important is to get your version, your beta out. Then while you're like on that version 1 launch, you're already working on version 2. And then when that launches, you're keeping just in front of the crowd. I don't care. People can go there. People can sign up. but I'm taking advantage of it and I'm working on the other stuff. People are sending me, might send a nasty note. Matter of fact, I got one the other day where it got lost in our spam mail. I don't know how, but it did. So you put you have to just put a policy in that we have to check this spam mail thing. We don't know why, but all right, that's a bug. We'll fix it and we move on.
Yeah.
But it's so great, hearing what you're doing. It's refreshing hearing what you're saying, Elena.
Well, I make this comparison, in the book between someone who's going to be a private label seller on Amazon and someone who's going to start a Shopify or a WooCommerce. I say Shopify just to mean your own, Coca-Cola to mean soda. All right. It's like a platform that you sell your own things, collect your own information, process everything. So, January 1st, you decide you want to be an Amazon seller, private label seller. January 1st, you decide you want to be, Abel and Frank and Abel researches for 3 months. What do I get? Look at all the stuff, did everything right, paid for this course, probably cost, thousands of dollars, and finds a product. Then while the product is being made, it gets the samples, tweaks the samples, researches the keywords, does all that. And so maybe if everything goes really, really, really well, and I'm probably going to use different numbers, but we're talking about 4 months. I mean, help me. You've done this a million times. From first idea to first sale, what would you estimate as an Amazon private label?
You're close. It could be 4 months. Yep.
4 months. Yeah. And that's if everything goes right. Because if the sample comes back and you tweak it, it comes back and you put up a Shopify store, you put a picture of the item up, that might take you, even if you're as technologically challenged as me, that might take you a week. And then you make sure that the Alibaba supplier has a good little badge on it, so you know that the item's eventually going to get there. January 1st, you do this, you spend the week. Let's say by the end of January, you'll have your first sale. And you will have spent, now just on ads and just on everything else, there's ways to do it where you can test products for $200, $250, right, and then move on if it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you didn't make any sales. So maybe, you decide I'm going to commit $300 to this product. I only made $120. It wasn't in profit. Okay, I've lost $280. Guess what? I got a new product and a new product and a new product. And that, depending on your budget, how many you can try at the same time, you're wrong on your first Amazon private label product. You're 10 grand in the hole. And now you got to start over again with another product. And I'm not saying don't do Amazon private label, because the ability to build a brand and do that is very, very, very good. And it's sustainable now, as long as Amazon doesn't steal your stuff. But I would never recommend that to a brand new person who's just not sure yet, because in my humble opinion, and I will stand by this, if someone tells you that you can get into the Amazon private label game for under $10,000, they are telling you a tall tale.
100% agree with you.
And in the old days, you could. In the old days, I was the number 2 probiotic on Amazon, and my investment was about $6,000 in that. I didn't know what a probiotic was until I private labeled it, because that was the Wild West. So, if someone tells you they had success in Amazon in 2014, know that meant they pretty much had focus, a pulse, and a computer. Focus is what kept most people, from back in the day. And that was the same with Facebook. And now if I tell you in 2017, I made, $1 million on one product, I'm not going to recreate that in 2021. Just one random out of the blue product. I mean, does it happen? Yes. Is it easy now? No, it's so different now. So, that's the other thing I sort of say in the book. It's like, I don't want to poo-poo any gurus, but I really, really, really wish we had more transparency into this is what you're getting into, and this is how much it's going to cost to see if this is what's right for you, especially if you're deciding, right? Because if you're deciding, and if you decide to go with the Amazon private label, then make sure that you go with people like Norm and Tim who know what they're doing, and pick good products and have a support system with you. But make sure you also have a nest egg of some serious money. That big stimulus check, even if you're married, that's not good enough to start a private label product on Amazon. It's good enough for Amazon wholesale. It's good enough for affiliate. It's good enough for, arbitrage. It's good enough for drop shipping. It's good enough for a lot of different ways to make money online. But that's, to me, I want to speak to people who are just sort of saying, hey, I was in a career I loved, by the way. And this is a great part of the book. I was almost feeling guilty leaving my career because it was a calling, and I still needed out. And then other people, they don't like their job or they don't have a job anymore, or, things are just different, or gosh, you know what? I was home for the pandemic, and I realized I kind of like that. I kind of like having my own schedule and working from home, especially now that the kids aren't home with me. I didn't say that, but now that the kids are back in school and I can really be home alone doing my own work. And so I think there's just a lot of people coming into the space right now. Don't you feel that?
Tons of people coming into the space, tons of people getting false information. And I really believe that 10,000 isn't really the number. I think it's more like 15.
I do too. I wasn't even counting the course you might have to take or the training or the software. I was just talking about for the product itself.
Yeah. And Amazon I love Amazon. I hate Amazon, but I love Amazon. And I think if you do have the proper capitalization, the proper research, you can do amazing on Amazon, and then you branch out. I know some amazing Amazon sellers that started to do drop shipping as well, and they're quite happy with it. And a matter of fact, one person heard us talking the last time, and they were from Australia, and they've contacted me, I've stopped doing Amazon, and they're just doing the drop shipping, which is really cool. But we're not saying that. This is an option, and that's why I wanted to bring it out. And I do have one other thing. I don't think we've ever talked about this. I don't think. But when you're looking at that product, that print-on-demand product, the first thing I think about, other than the list that you can build, but and segmenting that list. So now if you've got pet products, it's going to that dog owner, but building out a very simple funnel, 4 or 5-step funnel, where if somebody's going to get that dog collar for $19.99, then you bring them up to the $29.99. Then you pitch them on the $49.99. Now, of course, they need that premium dog bed and the sneakers and the cover. And
let me do you one more. How about training lessons for your dog from QuickBank? How about being an affiliate for some provider of dog services?
Yeah, I mean, it can go on. And these are things that you can target by building that and segmenting that list. You can very easily hit, and I know we've talked about this, how you can drill down. It's not just pet. It's not just dog. It's not just small dogs. It's schnauzers. Right. Do you remember when Wilfred and I had a list of 125,000 schnauzer owners?
Yeah. Yes.
It was
crazy.
Insane.
And they're passionate. I mean, if someone has drilled down to that, it means they're passionate. Like if you're advertising to anything on Facebook for dogs and you're not using rescue dog as one of your interests, because, going and getting a dog is one thing. Going and getting a rescue dog is another level of passion in my mind. Obviously, if you pay a lot of money for a breeded dog, but I mean, you can sense a passion about a particular niche, right? But this is the thing. If you have a general store on Facebook and it's called, Norm's General Store, and you place an ad one week for an automotive product, all the people that are coming to that ad only see that automotive product and like maybe 6 similar ones at the bottom of the page. And that person, Frank buys from your store and says, oh yeah, that guy Norm, he has an automotive store on Amazon. Next week you put a handbag on, and all they see is the handbag and maybe a scarf and something else for women and purses and wallets. And somebody else will say, oh yeah, Norm, he has that wallet store, because it's collections that they see, and that's all that they will see, right?
Yeah.
And then when you get that sale, like you're talking about, you can actually create a new funnel for that. But now Shopify has all these apps and plugins. But I also, like, my Merch for Brands is built on Groove funnels. So on Merch for Brands, if you were to set up the store and someone were to come to your page and buy that item, let's say it's a print on demand that just says, I love my schnauzer, and it's a t-shirt. When you go to check out, there's the pop-up of, how about having this on a pillow? How about having it on a mug? How about having this? And then the next thing will be, and that's all pre-built into the site, where you have these add-ons and these upsells and these cross-sells, not even counting then the email that you have. And when you are, let's say you have a general store, there's services for people who are brand new, that when someone buys from your store, you can segment what they paid for and what they purchased into a thing. So you're not sending the dog owner the purse. You're not sending them the purse for that, but you can also send them just a general coupon for your store and have them just come and browse. Or you can send an ad to collections. I mean, I don't know if things have changed on Amazon in terms of retargeting, but if someone comes to my store and they add something to their cart and they leave, not only can I send them an email or I can put an ad on their Facebook page with a coupon saying come back, when they click on that link that I have in that ad, it goes to their cart. It doesn't just go back to my page. It goes to the cart part where all they have to do is fill in their credit card. So, being in control and owning your customer list is huge. And I know there are ways you can scrape Amazon, and I've been out of the game for a while. I don't know if there's ways you can get their email list legally, but the last time I was on Amazon, it was, Frank T XQYR dollar sign, it was that sort of Amazon cloaking, right? I always thought I should use those for my passwords instead of Elena123.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start doing that. But I do want people to see, I joke a lot about being like brand new or like non-technological. And I don't do it to be self-defacing. I do it to be inspirational. Like get out and do it and just stop spending so much time worrying about what could go wrong.
Hey, Elena, I'm looking at the time, and we spent a lot of time talking about this process, the funnels and the print on demand, and we could probably get into a bit more of it. We haven't touched on the Facebook, the new, strategies and what I'm thinking, if you're okay with it, I know probably the audience would want to go on for another hour, but would you be able to come back next week and we could do a special episode on it?
Well, I would love to come back anytime and talk to you about it. Now, if the episode that I would envision for that, because I try and stay as far out of my business in terms of working on it rather than in it. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot of people that have the confidence right now to say, this is what's happening with iOS and this is what you need to do. And the people that I do know, and this is another important piece, when people say, I know what I'm doing on Facebook because I spend $2 million a month. Well, if you spend $2 million a month, you probably can't speak to me who's spending $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 or $10,000 a month, because you're going to get a different level of care from Facebook. You're going to get, your ads are going to be perceived differently. It's an auction. You're going to be ahead of the game just by definition. So the people at my level, we really haven't figured out the iOS workaround yet in terms of the social media. At least I and my team have not. I mean, we're doing things. I can give you three very easy, things. Make sure your attribution is right. Make sure your domain is claimed by your business manager. And the importance now, and I used to poo-poo this, but the importance now of a good creative. Spend your money getting a good creative. I've seen ROAS is return on ad spend, which is basically profit from spending on Facebook, die and be plateauing. And then a good creative can completely change that around nowadays. So there's a lot of like technical talk about, and I know how to do it, and this is another thing, if you're learning, there's people that know how to do things and there's people that know how to teach things. And I'm humble enough to know that I know how to do some of the things that need to be done on Facebook with the iOS changes. I'm not conversant enough in the why of that to help explain it to someone else, other than to say, when I flip the switch in my office, the light comes on, but I don't know about electricity. And I couldn't tell you how to save money on your electric bill by changing this wire and that wire. But if you want to talk about, how are we getting traffic outside of that as a workaround, as a diversification, and get it deeper into that, I'm happy to do that. But I could probably recommend you someone who could get into the nitty gritty of, well, here's how the algorithm works. When you do this, and I can't even spell API. Okay. So I don't know. So I'll leave that out there to you. And, as a, any guru who tells you, who doesn't say the words to you at some point, I don't know, that is a guru you should walk away from.
Very good. So you're not only, a defense attorney, but you're also a very good politician, because you really went around the bush there. But, okay, so why don't we just hit some of these questions? I see that there was a bunch coming in.
I don't see them, so you tell me.
Oh, yeah, you just have to hit the comments.
Tons of questions coming in.
Okay, let's go.
People are loving you, Elena. So we actually have one I think that you'll find interesting from Rosalind. I'll email you, Elena. Looking forward to reading your book. Thanks for the generous offer. I'm a lawyer too, practicing for 31 years. How did you approach your change to e-commerce, your own mindset plan, parallels to continue, habits, expectations from your law practice to put to bed?
Man, that was, I remember talking to you about that. So
yeah. I'll tell you, one of the things I didn't expect was even when I was making money online, and I don't know if you're a lawyer in private practice or if you're a lawyer in a firm, but if you're going from a job where you know that on the 15th of the month, you're getting X numbers of dollars and X number of cents, and on the 30th of the month, you're getting X number of dollars and X number of cents, it's a mind shift change. So even though you know that money's coming, it messes with your brain when it's not there. Like, even though your e-commerce store is doing well there, I mean, for me, and then maybe that's because I grew up without money, that took me a while to sort of say, you know what, it's all going to be okay. And this money is here. I mean, it really wasn't until this year, 3.5 years in, that I started really investing my money rather than just leaving it in the bank. Because number one, because inflation's so crazy, but number two, because I'm comfortable now. I'm finally comfortable with that. The change in expectation and habit is you're working for yourself without the stress. So I walked into it because I did, pro bono work, private practice. I cared about my clients. Sounds like you do too. So I had a lot of investment emotionally in my work. And so it was very freeing at one point to say, you know, if I screw up, I'm only going to lose a little bit of money, versus if I screw up, someone's going to spend the rest of their life in a metal cage. And that was a big, big difference. So I was a death penalty attorney in the public defender's office. And I got to the point where now, even though you'll hear in the book, there's some things about, like, you know, kind of losing my religion. I took a case in the last year. I currently have a murder case, and I'm taking it on my terms, on my time. So it's really a mindset of balance, of figuring out, you know, this part was a calling, so I don't want to give that up because I still want to feel fulfilled. But I also am allowed to make money. I'm allowed to move on. I'm allowed to have, you know, I mean, this is, I don't know, should I tell you I think I told you this in the last, when I was debating retiring, because I can't tell you how much of a calling this job was. I really felt like it was God's work. And I was really struggling. I was talking to my friends about it. And I was in church one day and everybody's leaving and I'm doing something. And I see them in the front, like 4 or 5 pews, and they're pointing to this man and they're pointing to me and they're pointing to him. And they're like, you know, talk to him. And they're doing this. And I'm like, what the hell? So this guy comes up and he says, I'm supposed to talk to you. I said, well, apparently I'm supposed to listen because all my friends are doing this. He says, I was a Episcopalian priest. And it was a calling, and I had this job for years and years, and I don't have it anymore. I left because I heard another calling. And he you know, does the sign of the cross, and he says, it's called chapter 2, and you're allowed. And I literally nearly burst out crying, because it was like, you know, and I say in the book, like, you don't need a stranger's permission to tell you. I didn't need a stranger's permission, but boy, did that hit me. And so, you know, if you're out there and you're in the job and, you know, it was wonderful, but it's just wearing on your soul in a way it didn't used to, I'm giving you permission. It's called chapter 2, and you're allowed it. You're allowed to want to make money. You're allowed to want more for yourself. You're allowed to dream big. And that mindset was really hard, especially at this, Rosalind was saying, as a pro bono, it just means she works for free. And me as a public defender, that was probably the hardest, because figuring out how to describe a product. I mean, geez, you know that because, you know, you've told stories to juries all your career. So all that stuff was easy. It was really getting my head around that, hey, you know, this is my business and I'm giving myself permission to succeed.
Was that our friend that you're talking about?
No, this was before I knew.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean the priest?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was before I knew.
Okay, next question.
Okay, this is from Tony. Hi, Elena. You said
Hey,
ship
Tony.
95. You said ship 95% from the U.S. now. Is drop shipping from China still viable?
It's still viable. You get a good supplier or you get a 3PL in China. So there's companies, like I said, like Zendrop, which is based in the USA, run by Jared Getz. And but they have factories in China and they work with the manufacturers. So they have their own special lines that can get things here quickly. So if I were to say, yeah, I want the prices from China and the lack of hassle from China, I would get one of those middlemen. They're all over the place. I mean, put a comment in any Facebook group and you'll get, I'm a supplier from China. I'm a dropshipper from China. I mean, the one I use is Zendrop. I've used CJ Dropshipping before, things like that. They're out there, and you can definitely still get them from China. They just sort of take the stress out of it and get it to your customers faster. And some will even, Zendrop will even, if you join, will have it say it's coming from your store. So it's not like a white package with Chinese writing on it. It'll have like your logo and stuff, which is kind of cool.
All right, Kelsey, put Zendrop in the comments, okay?
Yep. Okay, from Peter, what are shipping times like for drop shipping from China? Also, there are a lot of Chinese sellers posing as US-based suppliers for drop shipping. what is the best way to find real US-based suppliers?
It's hard. I would suggest if you're, I don't know if you're able or willing to go to the ASD show. They're having ASD virtually, and they're having ASD in person in August. By the way, if anyone's going, my party is on August 22nd, Sunday night. Norm will be there. He doesn't know that yet. I just RSVP'd for him. Are you going to be there?
If I can get across the bloody border.
Yeah, right. Okay, good point. But it's August. So first off, order something from them. Number one. Number two, just get on the phone and talk to them. Get a WeChat account, get a WhatsApp, don't Gmail, and they don't have that. And then just look at the ones that are already, these third parties that are already moving. I think Shopify, even in their back panel, they have ones that they recommend. Yakify is another one of them. So that's what I would do. In terms of Alibaba, you look at the badges, you look at the reviews. You want to, the reviews, a lot of people can make fake reviews, but you can tell when the reviews come in if they're really talking about this product. And then again, there's a place where it says contact, and just get on and talk to them. I mean, I do think if you're out there and you're watching this and you're thinking about it and you're like, I'm too old for this, I will tell you this. If you're over 40, you know how to get on the phone and talk to people, and you have a huge advantage over people who are, nothing against whatever generation that is, but they don't phone people. Everything is a text. I'm like, why are you phoning me? Did someone die? I don't even think they do that when they probably still text there, but get on the phone and talk to these people in China, or, there's middle people you can have do it. And a lot of them will message you. So yeah. Hey, Andrea, Andrea just came down to a mastermind. We're here. We had a great week. My liver's still recovering, fantastic. But we had a great week. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. Okay. So let's see, from Peter. Can you build a successful clothing brand with POD, and what is the best way to go about print on demand?
So in terms of a clothing brand, in terms of, are you designing a shirt? I want it with the, middle size sleeves, or this sleeve is long and this sleeve is short. You don't have that capability with print on demand. Print on demand is just what's on it. Does it have stripes? Does it have a word? Does it have this, pattern? Yes, you absolutely 100%. Best way to go about POD is to get in with one of these companies, Slingly, Gear Bubble, my agency, Merch for Brands, where we actually build you the store. But find designers on a site called Fiverr, on Upwork. Text-based designs, crush it, just crush it. Find a niche that's incredibly super passionate. Go to Hallmark stores, or I don't know if they have Hallmark stores or Targets. Look at greeting cards. Go on Etsy, type in, whatever the niche is, and look at t-shirts. What are they saying? How can you sort of model something after that? Change it. Don't steal it directly. But, if you see, a lot of people, when they talk about this particular dog brand, talk about the fact that its nose is so big, which, okay, I'm not a dog person, so that didn't, I don't know, but whatever. And that'll be a funny thing about a nose. Come up with something else funny about a nose. Model it like that. And then just the beauty of print on demand is you're just putting up pictures on the site to test, right? And you can get Facebook groups that you can create. And I say groups, not pages, because you want a lot of interaction. Where you spends a little time creating this kind of group of passionate people and say which design you like the best. Or you can do what are called engagement ads, which are really cheap on Facebook, and saying, do you love this shirt? Things like that. I wouldn't say the words you love right now, because the word you on a Facebook ad is really weird, but which is best, something like that. And then you'll get a sense of what a good design is. So yeah, I think POD, to me, if you're just getting started, that's the way to go. And then, by the way, POD is not just shirts, it's jewelry, it's pillows, it's shoes, it's blankets, face masks, hats, things like that.
It's everything. Yeah. And if you are interested in POD too, we've had Daniel Damassa on, who I don't know if you know. Elena.
Not by name.
Andrea Lake has been on I Know This Guy. These are two people, and they have another partner, Dan. They've done over $1 billion in t-shirt sales, and they have a course called Teachables, and it shows you how to teach, or how to get a successful or launch a successful POD t-shirt brand. So just it's called Teachables. And Daniel listens to the podcast once in a while. So if you are listening today, if you want to post anything, that would be great, Daniel.
Yeah, and if it sounds like he's talking about ways to get people to your store. My service will just have the store for you. And again, the beauty of the first 10 designs is that you can't use that as an excuse why you can't
So
get started.
you're do you have a course on this as well, or is this what are you offering?
I have merch for brands. It's the name of the store, and
Yeah.
it basically, if you go on, you'll have it will give you MERCH FOR brands. It's designed to get people started in the industry. So you go in and you say, okay, I want this one. I want this store where I'll have 10 designs and this features, or I want to go big and I want to have this store and I want to have unlimited and I want to do this. And it's partnered with Slingly, so it's all API connected. So when you tell the people on the team the design you want, like let's say you're a restaurant, you can be a restaurant, you could be a soccer mom, and you can draw it on a napkin. As long as you can explain what it is, we'll actually make the design for you and put it on the shirt or whatever you want to put it on. You'll see what you have, depending on your level, what you have open to you, because the jewelry is a little bit more expensive, but the t-shirts and the face masks and the clothy stuff, there's a word I made up, clothy.
Oh my God.
Mugs, things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
And then, these courses that can help you drive traffic. And then we also have on the agency that I've sort of partner created, ways that we can drive traffic with either cold email, press releases. What are the other ones? Gosh, I'm going a little. Just regular ads and other kinds of ads and influencers.
Okay, great. Next question.
Okay,
This is so
and
fancy. Kelsey just comes in. It's so cool.
just pops in. Yeah, so I posted the link for merch for brands in the comment section.
Cool. Thank you.
Everyone. Also, I believe Daniel Damas's website is Teacher, right? TEE.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what we can do
so
today,
I'll put
Kels?
that
I
in.
forgot.
What?
I forgot. This is an added bonus for you people. This is over an hour long. For those of you that stayed on, let's do #Wheel of Kelsey, and we can. I don't know how many listeners are listening right now, but #Wheel of Kelsey. If you tag 2 people, we've just got our brand new Lunch with Norm mugs that just came
there
in,
you go.
and we will send off 3 people the Lunch with Norm mug.
Okay. U.S. and Canada only, right? Or is that everyone?
Yes. Sorry, guys. So U.S. and Canada only.
Okay.
So that's #Wheel of Kelsey, and then because Elena's never seen the Wheel of Kelsey, so I thought we would do that.
Of course.
For her.
Never seen it.
Okay, you gotta wait. You can't wait.
Okay, and Elena, do you have a cutoff time? We didn't get to talk before, but
No.
are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good considering I thought it was noon Pacific. My morning's all free.
Clear the whole.
There we go.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay,
Next
so-
question.
Okay, next question is from Kyle. Do you have any good resources for getting good creative for Facebook ads? I know UGC is important, so is there a good website to get people to make it for you? Thanks.
UGC is great, and the one that's coming to my head right now is Thomason, TOMOSON. I don't know about just specifically for ads. I don't have one. I use just a friend of mine that does it, and it doesn't work for other people. But definitely, and UGC is user generated content where people will be like, oh, I just got these AirPods, check this out, or, love these, or, clearly I just got mine and obviously they're the wrong, I have to put the little different sizes in because they keep coming out. But yeah, the short answer is no. The one I can think of off the top of my head is Thomason, Dan Hernandez. He came to China with me, good guy. I'm not sure, they have like a panel for that. But if you Google like influencer Facebook ads, you'll see all sorts of places that are like Yelp, I guess like Yelp, where they're like, I'll do this, or Fiverr, like this is how many followers I have, and this is what it would cost. And you can just mail them their item and send it back, or you can have them not as an influencer, but as someone who just makes it for you as a one-off price.
Okay.
And you can also just go on Instagram and see people who are in that section and call and say, hey, will you just make this video for me?
Right. And if you are looking for just influence, one thing you can do very quickly, very easily, when you have your insert in your product. So if you're on Amazon or wherever you're selling the product, you could just tell people to, tag you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you can repost those. You can do influencer campaigns where you can go out, very simple. just schnauzer blogger or
Yeah.
bulldog influencer. There's different types of syntax or search strings that you can do in Google. One that I can think of is related : and then when you're on a comment, like a blog site that you like, just put the URL there. So related : and then whatever the blog article URL is, and you get a ton of influencers or bloggers, and you can just reach out to them. And of course, you can always reach out to them on TikTok, Facebook,
Yeah, TikTok
Instagram,
for sure. Yeah.
YouTube.
And you know what I just thought of? Our buddy Rob, Video Telepathy. If you got a little bit more money, they'll produce real commercials for you. Video Telepathy in San Diego.
He was just on the Centurion League call yesterday. So
Okay.
that's another really great one too. So he does what's called a marketplace review.
Yeah.
It costs about $2,000, but they go out and they will just do a video. They'll ask a set of questions, and then they cut it and splice it into what he calls these micro ads, 15-second micro ads. And it's very good.
Yeah. It's a little more money up front, but 100% worth it if you got it. But you can really, like, TikTok's great because, see, that's a generational. I'm just learning what that is. But you reach out to one of those folks that does something funny. I mean, the thing, when they're kind of new, they love the attention. They love this idea that, even if you're paying them 10 or 20 bucks, they're like, oh yeah, I'm an influencer, I got paid. Because that's all. Can you think of a more ego-driven, career than? All
right, Kels. Next question.
Okay, so let me see. We'll do Simon's question here. So he says, I love the mindset of giving permission to succeed. I guess it is very important to switch off to prevent burnout. Do you detach? If so, how?
Yeah, I really give myself permission, not only just to succeed, but to chill out. So like the last 3 days, I had friends in town that we used, the group of women that we would meet at conferences, and we're vaccinated now. And they're, one of them's local, one of them flew in, and I didn't do much work, and I don't beat myself up for that anymore. So, I used to joke, they're like, when I was at my lawyer office, it's like, how do you get through the day? Okay, Jesus and alcohol, but we can't, we can't do that. I mean, we can live on one of those maybe, but not the other two. But when you're not, I mean, it's a stress, when you're a lawyer and the stressful work that I was in, it was incredibly important. And I didn't do it enough early in my career. Which is, I think, why I did get to a burnout. And I don't know that anyone could, because it's incredibly, difficult. But I definitely take time off. I've recently just become addicted to pickleball, which I would never, it's like human ping pong. I've never played tennis in my life. And I'm a little bit like, it's kind of cool. And so some days I'll play pickleball for 3 or 4 hours a day. And then I focus when I have to focus. So when I know I have time, like now when this book is, obviously I have plenty to do today, but when something is in the works, I give myself time off. I also, this is really important. I have my own space. And if you're starting out, even if it's just a closet or a corner of a room, when you're there, you're focused. And when you're not, so I was very fortunate to rent this incredible house during just 1 year. I have 1 year in this place. It has 4 bedrooms. I live alone. It's a little weird. Okay. But I have my office, which I'm in, and I have a library, which is just books and a nice chair. Now, could I combine those? Yeah. But when I'm there, it's my time. I'm reading for me. And when I'm here, I'm working. So you may not have that, ability to do, which is fine, but find a place where it's just you, and say, this is what I'm going to do, and do with some ritual, light a candle, have a hourglass. I'm focused. This is what I'm doing. So that's it for me. And when I don't do it, I don't do it. I don't.
She's not doing something. All right. So I'm not sure if Elena even knows that she's frozen. All right. So I'm not sure. At least she has a nice, sure. At least she doesn't have a dumb look on, right? She could be in one of those, when you got your eyes closed and you're cringing, but she looks very
been
official
there
before. Okay, so Elena, if you hear us, you are frozen. You might have to log back in. Not sure what happened.
I'm gonna just.
There she goes. She's gonna come.
There we go.
She.
Oh.
That's so weird. My computer went black.
Do you want to see what you look like?
I'm so sorry, you guys.
Oh, there we go. Okay. No problem.
But I've got, I'm in my dining room now. Wow, I got to take classes too. I was just saying, find a place where you focus and work, but give yourself permission to take breaks, especially if you're starting, because you feel like you have to do stuff 24/7, and you don't. You just have to do stuff concentratedly when you do it.
Right.
Wow. What did you see anything? Because my screen was just completely
No, it
blank.
was
Did
just
you see me go?
completely black. Yeah. At least
you're in
yeah.
you had a good face.
Yeah.
You weren't
Okay.
one of those ones.
All right, Kels, next.
Okay. So just clear up something. So if you do have a US address for the giveaway, that's totally fine. So Daniel, I'll enter you. Yep. So these are our brand new mugs that we came out with.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I don't
So
even have like that.
Well, we'll have to send
Yeah,
one.
we'll have to
You
get
gotta
one
hook
to
me
you. Of course. Yes. So we had a question about marketing funnels from Michelle. I'm just trying to find it here. Okay. What are you using to build out your funnels?
You're
I have.
using
Not sure if you
Groove,
guys-
right?
I'm using GrooveFunnels. Yeah, that's the short answer. My Shopify store has like some apps that will do stuff like with upsells and things, but I use GrooveFunnels.
I went when they were just doing their beta. It looked fantastic. I know PR Reach is using some of their modules now. And they look
Groove, there's
fantastic.
Kartra, there's ClickFunnels. I mean, if you're brand new and starting out, I would go on all of them and see which one resonates with you in terms of user interface, because some of them are have a lot of features, but for the new person, they can get a little confusing. And so, you can always, change at some point too. Almost everything will let you integrate. Sometimes you have to copy and paste it. Sometimes you can just push it. But GrooveFunnels, to me, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and it's pretty inexpensive.
Pretty inexpensive. And Merch for Brands, when we build a store for people, we build it on GrooveFunnels.
Okay.
Because there's room to grow, and it's got everything. It's got its own processor. It's got everything.
Okay. And I think we just have one more
Okay.
from Simon. What is the key questions to ask Fiverr website designers?
The one thing I like to ask them is, if you're in a particular niche, what's the most popular design they have, and if they share it with me, I get mad because I don't want people to share my designs with other people. So the really what you want is you want samples of their work, just random samples. You don't want them to say, this one sells a lot, you should copy that. Because to me, I feel like that's sort of, being disloyal to the person who hired them for that. But you do want to see samples. I think the most important thing is to give them samples to begin with. And it took me a long time to get good at that. Like sometimes I'll get like, I'll take a picture of it and then I'll write on it, instead of this, do that. And instead of this, do that. And then I'll take a picture of what I wrote on and send them that screenshot. You basically just want them to be able to work quickly, to understand what you're saying. And sometimes they'll be really smart and really good, but you guys just don't click. And other times you'll just find people who you can just say one thing, like the person who designed my Merch for Brands logo. He did an amazing job. And I basically just said, I kind of want it to look like this, but examples. You can't say I want it to look retro. You have to send them a picture of something you consider retro. So definitely go through, type in logos or whatever, and tell them this is what I like. And then if it's not perfect what you like, say I like this except for I hate the font, or I like this except for I want this bit bigger. And to me, that's the easiest way to communicate with a designer on Fiverr.
Okay. Is there another question, Kels? And then we'll close it up for questions.
Yeah, so Rad had another one after this,
Sure.
And then we'll close it up. So this is from Michelle. For the merch store, do you provide advertising for the store?
We don't like do the advertising for you, but yeah, we provide advertising people for you, and we give you deals on that. So there's one in particular that's an email service that is unbelievable. That's really expensive, and they used to only work with Fortune 500 companies, and now they work with almost anyone. And we if you buy through our through the part of the merch package that we offer, you get credits up front, and you can cold email people and then bring them onto your warm list and segment and do all of that. Same with our PR people, same with our the influencer one that's coming. So yeah, we show you how to do that, and then included in it is the course for advertising.
Okay.
We'll teach you how to fish, but we're not going to give you the fish. But we're gonna give you the bait, and we're gonna give you the pole.
Okay, and our last question for today from Rad. How do you estimate the price for your product for drop shipping? Do you find the price on other websites?
No, I don't care about other websites. I mean, a little. I mean, I want to make sure I'm kind of in the ballpark, but what I do is I'll take whatever the cost of goods is and I'll multiply it by at least 2.5 and 3 if I can get away with it. Because you're gonna spend, you know, a $30 product, you're gonna spend $12 to $15 unless it's a t-shirt or something like that, getting a customer. So you want to make sure that you're going to get that for, you know, enough that you can advertise it, pay for it, and take a profit. And one of the most important things you'll learn is we don't need a huge profit up front because we'd have a lot of, you know, if you buy 2, you get this. So one item I sell, I make $1 or $2 if you buy 1, but I make 8 if you buy 2. So we incentivize a second purchase, even for things like jewelry. You know, we definitely target, like, oh gosh, here, big tip for POD, target grandmas, because grandmas usually have more than 1 grandkid, you know, and they can't, you know, play favorites. If you know, they get one thing, they'll get it for 5 kids, something like that.
Okay. That's
Fantastic.
it. So
sorry for that drama in the middle and the change of venue. I just ran to my laptop real fast.
No problem. So last chance to enter for these mugs. It's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. We'll give you about 30 seconds and then we'll get going. How do people get in contact with you? How do they check out your what is it called again? Merch?
Oh, Merch for Brands is the store that explains how we'll do the agency for you. And then www, we will show you how. And go onto that now, because the Courting Freedom website, which is going to be like my main website, courtingfreedom.com, it's not, there's nothing on it, but write it down, because that's what's going to be when the book is in. That's where I'm going to be dropping nuggets and tidbits and telling you who I'm working with and giving you the opportunity to work with people. You know, telling you maybe some like Fiverr people that I like that have done good things. And then even Amazon stuff, because I'm still, you know, I got a toe in that water. And I also, you know, I know I have relationships with a lot of people. So I'm very, very happy to vet folk for you and say, yeah, this person's great, or this person usually works with people who do this, and that's not where you are, so you should look at this person. So, you know, I really want to sort of like build a relationship with folks that it's just more like we're at a networking party and I'm chit-chatting with you. And if you're in Vegas on August 22nd, Sunday night at the Sahara Hotel, 5 to 7, that's where my party's going to be, but you'll hear more about that if you're on my list.
Awesome. Okay, Kels, what time is it now?
It is the Wheel of Kelsey, so here we go. Elena, you're going to love this, I hope.
I'm sure I am. It's going to look like magic.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay, Wheel of Kelsey time. Just double checking to see if everyone got their names in, and I believe so. Okay. I'm going to throw Manny's name in here because he entered before, but I'm not sure if he has an address.
Oh my God, I'm just looking at idiot in a car. These are hysterical.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. So we're going to do 3 of these, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is like magic. This is so cool.
And Tony.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Number 1.
Congrats, Tony.
So funny.
Okay, next.
Tony, he had the second entry. So he
he doesn't win again.
Yeah.
What are the chances though?
All right, next. Okay, Olga.
Very good.
And
the last one.
Okay, last. Here we go. Daniel.
Is that
All
Daniel
right.
Damasa?
No. Daniel from YouTube.
Oh, very good. From Brazil. All
yes,
right.
yeah.
Oh, but he's got a U.S. address.
U.S.
right?
address, yep.
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. So if you are the winner, congratulations, and email me at k@lunchwithnorm.com. Send me your email or your shipping address. Needs to be Canada or US only, or Facebook Messenger. That's always easy too. So nice and easy. Send that address over and we'll get you sorted.
And Elena, we're going, when you leave the screen, just kick around backstage, and we'll talk to you. But it's going to look like you've left the webinar. Okay.
Are you messing with me? Am I really going to be on and you're not telling me? Is this am I being set?
You will be on.
Me?
I'm not going to punk you. That's only at events. So thank you, Elena, for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
This is a different rabbit hole. I didn't know we would be going down this, but it was great. I think everybody enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed the nuggets. It's just a different way of selling.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. And again, just go to Elena's website if you'd like the book, and also to check out what she's doing on her print on demand. Okay, so Kelsey, what's happening?
Okay. So if you guys missed it at the beginning, we are doing something kind of special now. So in June, that's the target date. We're going to be vamping up our Patreon. So Patreon is like a subscription monthly service. So we're going to be putting more.
We're staying with lunch with Norm 3 days a week, exactly like it is 100% no charge. You get the exact same content if you go to the website, if you go to YouTube. The Patreon is just if you're interested in donating, I just basically have to pay for Kelsey. So
exactly. So subscribe.
10 cents an hour.
That's right. So that's happening in June. We'll be talking more about this now. So we'll post those links later. But yeah, it's just something happening. Lots of great content, giveaways, discounts, free services, all that stuff is going to be happening in the Patreon. Ask me anything. Tons of stuff. You guys really should subscribe there. Yeah, merch. So that's happening. If you loved Elena, smash those like buttons, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm sure we'll have her back in the next couple of months, hopefully. And I think that's everything from me.
Okay, so I know it went long today. It went really long today, but it was well worth it. So join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Eastern Standard Time at noon. Also, we have a fairly good presence right now on Clubhouse. We haven't been mentioning it a lot on the podcast. We were trying to see how it would grow. And so it's going great. We had over 500 people on our podcast last episode, and it's every Thursday at 1:00. So we will be pushing, or not pushing, but putting the link into the comment section, and you can just join us on Thursdays. And we are part of the largest Clubhouse group in Clubhouse with over 500,000 members. So it's incredible. And the knowledge going back and forth, these are all entrepreneurs looking for other ways to, survive or make more money or do things more efficiently. So that's it. Thank you. I know I'm long-winded today, but thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of the community. And we couldn't do it without you.
Have a fantastic weekend, everyone.
Lunch with the